Eh, da, ooh, da, 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 da. In this video, we will talk about Kaizer Chiefs firing their head coach at Zwane. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bilo. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs, Khosi Football Club. And no, Chiefs are not firing at Zwane, but we're going to talk about them firing at Zwane, which is not going to happen. And I will tell you why. And I don't want people to come at me and say, oh, there you go, defending Zwane, because I am talking about something that is a reality and not just a dream for people. People want to see Zwane fired. As such, everyone else is going to jump into that wagon. Yoguti Uzwane should be fired and blah blah blah. Here's one reason, the first and obvious reason why Uzwane will not be fired by Chiefs is the fact that it's his first season and he's sitting fourth on the log. 13 wins, 10 losses, and 5 draws. There is another reason, right? There is another reason there's another thing that I want to address, because I've been accused of defending Uzwane, blaming players, and not giving any responsibility to Uzwane. But it seems to me as if people are conveniently ignoring the parts where I criticize Uzwane about making late subs, the part where I criticize Uzwane for not showing plan B, the part where I criticize Uzwane for playing, say, Umat, the part where I blame Uzwane for not trusting other players, like Abu Duba, for instance, like Abu Mahlatsi. People conveniently ignore me when I say those things. They just focus on the parts where I talk about the players and what the mistakes that they make. But I have made my points clear here, Uguti. As much as I will keep on saying, Uguti, Uzwane right now, he clearly needs help and is not at the level where I can say I am 100% satisfied. I am not, because I will not be 100% satisfied if my team is losing more games than it's drawing. It's supposed to be wins, draws, and losses. But right now, it's wins, losses, and draws. And that doesn't look good. And that does not make me happy. Like the fact that we play the kind of football that we played, we're kicking the ball, Ipola al Paswa, we're just kicking the ball, kicking the ball, kicking the ball all the time. I'm not happy with that. Who does that come down to? There is the coach. It's his responsibility. And if Abadlal are not listening to him, that means he must make a statement by benching one of the players who don't listen to him and make a statement. Again, you see, Guti, for the first 3 minutes of this video, I am clearly addressing the issues that I have with Uzwane. But uzobezwa abantu kuma comments, they will just focus on the part where I talk about the players only, because y'all want me to just make a video that is about thrashing Uzwane and throwing him down the toilet, which I will not say, like, which I will not do. Like, I will not do it. Like, I will not. Until the Chiefs fires Uzwane, I'm still gonna say I'm behind the coach, but if he does something bad, I'm gonna criticize him, right? I am gonna criticize the coach if he's not doing well, but I'm not gonna go as far as to say this season, especially not this season, to say I got coach. But I will say what I'm not feeling good. Like, we lost, and it's 24 hours later, and I'm still not feeling good. Like, I dragged myself into doing this live because it really affected me. The loss to Swallows really affected me, and it's been a while since I felt this bad about losing a game. So I will not sit here and say, hey, I'm absolutely happy with how Zwane is doing. I'm not, because you look at how the team is playing, you look at the promises that he has made. Veluguti, he wants the team to play beautiful football and to not play Makita Spegane. But against the Chip, against the Kukune, against Swallows recently, Bezlala on Makita Spegane. And that doesn't make me feel happy at all, because the coach is ultimately responsible for those things. So, ukona log. But also, I will also not ignore a player who cannot make a 5-meter pass. I will also not ignore a player who will not pass umdlalo wangakubo. Like, I will not ignore the fact that Usahile didn't pass uDupree when uDupree was clearly free. I will not. Like, so people want me to just say, oh, Sahile not passing uDupree, that's Zwane's fault. I'm supposed to say that. Like, Zwane was supposed to go in, abambunya ulga Sahile, I'll pass this uDupree. I cannot say that. Like, why would I honestly sit here and lie to you? Like, I'm not going to be influenced by pressure about ukuthi criticize Zwane. The masses are turning against Zwane. So let's just go ahead ukuthi can I just address this foot? I will do this because people, by making 2 examples. The first example is Rulani. Uzobezwa foot. People like doing this. The moment I bring up Rulani, ukuthi kwi-Pirate, he was a flop, right? He was a flop kwi-Pirate, he was a flop kwi-Chippa United. He goes to Sundowns, he's one of the 3 coaches. And then when Rulani starts coaching, the team goes on a very like freakish run. Like, they just go crazy. They win, I think, 16 or 21 games in a row. And when it does that, I'm saying to Kaizer Chiefs fans, look at what Rulani is doing at Sundowns, because he is now winning games in a row. And yet, people were calling him a failure. And then people are like, no, but he has Umniti and he has Ukompela there, so it's technically not him on his own. I'm like, okay, so there are 2 ways I can look at that. The first one is that, for starters, it was still the 3 coaches, Mngiti, Kompela, and Rulani, but Sundowns were losing games. And then they changed the coach and they put Rulani ahead, and then he started coaching, and then Sundowns started winning. So you're going to ignore who Rulani was in charge, and then the team started winning. So you're going to ignore that, right? Just because Rulani abafuna accept ukuthi he was a flop with Pirates, and yet he's coaching Sundowns, and the Sundowns are playing really well. They're going to ignore that, right? And the second reason is this, ukuthi, if you are going to say, oh, Rulani is successful at Sundowns because he has 2 other people assisting him. Okay, Zwane only has Shepherd who's inexperienced. Rulani has Kompela, has Umniti, coaches who are experienced. Zwane, it's just him and Shepherd, and both of them are not experienced. Yet, for Zwane, it's okay for him to be alone, and he's a failure because he's failing to coach on his own without a coach on experience near him. Yet for Rulani, when he's doing that, oh no, he's successful because there are coaches who have experience next to him. So it doesn't make sense to me, Uguti. We're saying Rulani, he's being supported. Zwane on the other side, he's not being supported, but he's a failure. I don't understand the logic that we use, Uguti. We can use it Rulani, we don't use it Zwane. Second thing, when I use Upitso as an example and say, hey, look at what Upitso did with Sundowns when he went there. First season was horrible. And people would say, hey, but Upitso, it was only half a season, it wasn't the full season. And then they continue to say, Zwane does not deserve to be a Chiefs because he hasn't won anything. But I'm like, okay, so Zwane hasn't won anything. Fine, we get that. It's true, it's a fact, right? Hasn't won anything. Upitso had won something, yet he still struggled at Sundowns. He had experience, yet he still struggled his first 6 months at Sundowns. But it applies to Upitso Guti. He struggled and eventually triumphed, but it doesn't apply to Zwane Guti. He's struggling, but he might eventually triumph. Nothing was seen with Sundowns, what was happening when Celtic ibapula ngenduku. But look at Upitso now. The same fan base that was busy saying, well, we want Baxter's head. Wahambu Baxter. The same fan base that said they wanted Hans' head, he's gone now. It's the same fan base who are now saying experience, we need experienced coaches. Yet the same fan base was firing the coaches who had experience. So yini indaba ifuna? Like, that's the question that I'm asking me. Because we can talk about I know some people are joining the video now. I have talked about Zwane and my grievances against him earlier on in the video, in case you are joining now. And by the way, while we're at it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. So that is the thing that I'm saying, Uguti. There are certain things that people are applying to Zwane, yet they are not applying to the other coaches. So another sad thing, the last thing before Mfunda my comments in, is this. Tottenham Hotspurs, Chiefs has become Tottenham. Tottenham, they had Mauricio Pochettino, who got them to the finals of the Champions League, almost won them the league, but they just failed to win things for some reason. They brought a specialist coach, Mourinho, who doesn't lose a final. Mourinho, never, ever, ever. He came in with Tottenham, and then he started changing his team to a point yoguti they got to the finals of the Carabao Cup, and then they fired Mourinho on a Monday and the final was on a Sunday. A coach who's never lost a final, they fired him on a Monday while they were playing a final on that week. Isn't that the same thing that Chiefs did? Ugutu Zwane and Hunt had gotten Chiefs to the finals, and yet they chose to appoint Baxter to coach the final. Let's leave that. Uguti, how the things are done with these teams. Let's also talk about the fact that Antonio Conte a few months ago, was talking about how Spurs, it's just their history. Uguti, they failed to play under pressure. He got fired. 2 weeks ago, they got beat 6-1 by Newcastle United. And then 2 days ago, they would have been destroyed by Liverpool if Liverpool went poor themselves. They were 3-0 up by after 15 minutes, and then Liverpool relaxed, and then Spurs came back to the game, but only to score the third goal on the 93rd minute, and then Liverpool scored the fourth goal, and then they Spurs it on the last minute. There are teams that just know how to screw things up, even if you try. So then the question is, are we not just now at a point where we should say, nabadlali nabo ba responsible? There is a culture that has just come upon abadlali be-Chiefs ukuthi you relax. Because ba relaxile manje. Because bayazi scheme esabo. And yes, esabi scheme partly because uZwane naye is letting those players badlali ahead of them. But here's the question, ne? I will say this, I'm not happy with Umat, right? But who's the alternative to Umat? Let's just go through the squad. Who's the alternative to Umat, right? You have Usamgelo Zwane, who's gonna come in, he's not that good defensively. Ingane. Angifuni mayisedlisa nithi ingane. Yadlisa ingane akakhipha ingane. You have Unang. You fans are complaining ukuthi one ball playing midfielders. You have Unange who can't do that. So you want him to come in instead of Umat. Umat who's better when it comes to controlling and playing the ball. Unange will come in and not perform, and then Nzobe send him took. You have Ukole, he experimented with Ukole, he didn't perform, you saw what happened. Okay, fine. Let's try someone else. Let's try Unjabulo Ngcobo. All of you have been screaming, oh, Unjabulo Ngcobo should come in and play. Uzwane hates Ngcobo. He played Unjabulo Ngcobo. Was directly responsible for 2 mistakes. Jabulo Ngcobo this season, I haven't checked right now. I can check and confirm Guti how many games he has played this season and how many mistakes he's been directly responsible for. So, ratio yakhe yama mistakes per game is more than Eka Kweneka, because Kweneka has played more games and has made, yes, a lot of mistakes. But if you compare him to Ngcobo and then look at ratio ka Ngcobo to ama mistakes that he makes per game, then you will see Uguti it's justified while Ngcobo sits on the bench. So at the end of the day, singa complain as Uzwane makes poor selections. For instance, let's say Uzwane starts Uduba, which I would like to see him make. But Uduba will miss another chance like the one he missed against the Swallows. And then nina futhi nzobe senimthuka nithi ingane lezi azazi benzani, sell them, nibizo mdu ngeenkomo ngoba abalandeli be-Chiefs banjalo. Yabona ke manje ke asuke ngempela cause sengikhuluma nesizulu. Sengikhuluma nesizulu. I am sorry, let me try to go back to English. But I'm just saying I have to let this out because I feel like it's just easy to say it's all the coach, and yet there are times where you see the coach on the side telling the players to push up, they don't push up. You see the coach telling the players, this means pass the ball, pass the ball. But you see players still kicking the ball. Yet to Zwane football. Unezinto zakhe. I'm not gonna sit here and say Zwane is perfect, he's the best, Guardiola. He's not Guardiola. I am not saying that. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say Zwane is elite. He's not. He's not elite. The elite coaches, Guardiola, Klopp, Ancelotti. Zwane is nowhere near that level. I would say that right now with confidence, without fear. But I'm not also going to say, let's fire the coach. He's going to solve all the problems that we have. There is a reason why all the coaches that have been coaching Chiefs in recent seasons have resulted or resorted to playing Makita Spiran, because those players cannot play ball. And it's become their culture. Funda my comments saying, same by saying, oh no. Please like the video. And then Khuputso saying, Ola Khosi, Pilo Nation to the nation. Khuputso saying, no, Chiefs firing Zwane would be criminal. He needs proper players not to get sacked. Mandla is saying, Khosi Nation, can we truly say Kaizer Chiefs will finish fourth without our last games being Super Sport and Cape Town City? I don't know, because all we need is to draw against Cape Town City and then they can't overtake us. So that means we'll be playing them in the MTN 8 next season. Because number 1 plays number 8, number 2 plays number 7, number 3 plays number 6, number 4 plays number 5. Either way, we're playing Cape Town City in the next in the MTN 8 next season. Mandla saying people in Khosi Nation seem to not realize how many people are hating Khosi Nation. I was telling Pilo that people are angry and done with Zwane now. Losing this weekend will make people go crazy. And if we lose this weekend, they will go crazy. I get it. They will go crazy. I will not be happy because we've beaten Pirates twice this season. I would rather we'd lost one of the derbies and win this one. Funny enough, the thing that will happen or that could happen, Chiefs wins the semi-finals and then they lose to Sekukun in the final. I think that would be more painful, Shem. Not gonna lie to you. Kaizer is saying, let's give Zwane a second chance for next season with his new players as management. Then after he failed, we can say he must go. And that's my stance. If Zwane fails with the players that he will get next season, then I'll have a problem. I'll really start asking serious questions. Okay, now you have the players that you wanted. So now what's your problem? When Smith is saying, Olampilo, no, mina ndibona ukuthi Zwane is good. Inye into ukuthi athole ama-players kuphela. Exactly. Like mina vele ngisasho namanje ukuthi you cannot tell me ukuthi you are going to blame everything on the coach 100%. Mina, I would say at this point, I can't put it in percentages. But I would say i-blame ngiyamnikeza ucoach, i-blame ngiyabanikeza abadlali. It's not 100% players, but it's also not 100% the coach. Usimba is saying it's kids football. Umkhetho is saying yesterday's loss was painful. I don't want to lie. About this season, I have never felt that much pain. I've never been so irate. Uzi Tulele is saying he needs plan B as a coach. Ignoring other good players like Njabulo Ngcobo is a crime itself. Firing him won't solve our problems. I agree with you, Guti. Sometimes it does seem like plan B agawufaki. Like, but then again, you wonder, Uguti, do these guys even listen? I agree, Uguti. Sometimes it seems like he's not changing things as quickly as you would want him to. And that makes me go, huh? Why are you not changing things? Right? So I agree with you on that one. I was saying, Wala Khosi Nation, ngibone video yakho izolo, and I imagine ukube ubuzwana after a match, ubuzo resign. I was gonna go crazy on the players if they were doing something that I wouldn't have told them. But if it was something that I would have told them, because the best chances we had were from Gezana. Like, it was Gezana who got the best 2 chances. Not the best 2 chances, but who came closest to scoring. Hit the post and then one ball was cleared off the line. Mama set pieces. which we should double down on, because if we're going to force teams into their own half or get crosses, then we must have um I just forgot what I was saying. Uguti, if yeah, I just forgot. I really forgot what I was saying. And Smith is saying, Futi, aphelile le nonsense yama players angaphaselani ball. Like, that's the thing, Yoguti. How is it that we're going to sit here every week and talk about these guys? Stop doing this nonsense. Stop not passing the ball to each other. You should be passing each other. You know this. You shouldn't be told to pass the ball to each other. You should know, but they don't do it. And then specifically saying, man, I don't care what happens with from now. I'm done, because clearly they don't care about us, the supporters, because they just play nonsense week in, week out. I agree with you. Like, it doesn't seem like it hurts them. It doesn't. Ausi Tulele saying, look at what Sile did, failing to pass to Pre. Exactly. What was that nonsense? You remember Guti, the other loss that almost felt like this one, the one that we had against the Golden Arrows. Uguti, it was the same nonsense. Dupre in that case not passing. I know as well, it wasn't Dupre. It was Umtu, and Dupre as well was there not passing. Heather Kulma. Heather is saying Nala executive and no Bobby. And yeah, Ukalet is saying, guys, first of all, some players are not Chiefs material. Yes, they are good for those smaller teams, even if you can hire Rulani Mukwena to coach Chiefs. With these players from Chiefs, no. And I remember Urulane, I just couldn't find that interview where he was talking about Tuguti at Pirates. He coached them and gave them instructions, but mental capacity wasn't big enough to understand. I remember when I heard ngiyabaphambanisa guys. Just give me a second. I want to confirm what I'm talking about. Tabang Munari. I think Ben Mutwar. No, Munari, man. Umunari, man. I want to make sure. Yeah, Umunari. So Umunari, I saw his TikTok video when he was talking about how Uzinbao gave him an instruction, and he went to Mutwari and said, no boy, this thing needs to be tricky. Just pass the ball to me and I will do the things that need to be done. I'm like, what? So players sometimes are given instructions and they don't even get them. So then are we really realistically thinking Guti Abadlalbe Chiefs, they get all the instructions at this point? Because if you think about it, Tumtswari Pele is an old player. Abazovele batigwe nontwana I'm late a matric certificate. Like, what is that? So our players are also just not understanding what is being said to them. Because sometimes you see, Uguti, some of these things you think they are simple enough, but you don't see our players doing them. Then you're like, why would you not do something that is so simple? Sbu is saying, but I think Zwane all in all uzamile kule season. Just yena mele awin at least in Nedbank uzobe sebenzile ke lapho, and lack of experience kuye, and akana technical team nje ufana nokuthi uyedwa nje. Exactly, because you take two inexperienced coaches, you bring them together. What do you expect? Competing against the Sundowns with three very experienced coaches, because experience CAF Champions League, it just compounds your experience even more, because you are playing against a lot of teams, not just the 16 from the league, not just the 15 from the league, but you are playing 3 more in the group stage. That adds to 18. League 16, that's another team. Last 8. Yabona nje bana experience eningi. Uluyanda is saying, but honestly, with Dolly out there, is no passing and finding to pray to benefit from his skills and speed. I hope they place Shabalala in the number 10 and only serve to pray. Hey, yazi ngempela again, I will admit, until I saw that data Utudoli had been creating a lot of chances, I never realized ukuthi we're gonna miss Udoli. And njalo nathi singabalandeli we're complaining saying Udoli must get a bench. I did say that at some point. Until I saw his numbers, I was like, okay, he's creating some chances. Ukhona ukuthi there were some from crosses, but there also some open play. And after I saw those stats, I started to realize, oh yeah, Utoli does make these passes because Ngaseng Gut is doing that. It's just that he had dropped off from the level that he was used to be in to the level that he's in now. But now Utoli is no longer there. Now we're seeing Good Mashani can do it. Sekhota clearly can do it. So Keto is saying people just hate Zwane and I don't know why. It's because people think he's an affirmative action hire. He doesn't have experience and all that stuff. Heinzan is saying Chiefs needs players, not the coach. Yeah, because the new coach, let's just say we hire Edukral for next season. Where Edukral will be pissed. Umsheni, he will be pissed with those players. Uzobafuseki Sanje before we even get to the 10th game. And then it's to Umshin is too harsh on the players. Because there's a reason why Umshin ended up leaving the Chiefs twice. Well, the 2 times that I know of anyways. There's a reason. Why dlalisa ingane because abantu abadala babembozela benjalo because bayaboza abantu abadala sometimes because they are used to a way that of playing that they know. That is why you see ngomduku buyiba ba carry weight Chiefs. Bruce is saying Zwane is coaching the boys for them to be creative in playgrounds. Now if they fail and we start blaming 10-111, it's another story. For now, yazi ngisathola ama-comments that are positive. Ngifuna ukuzwa ama-comments are negative. Because I wanted to have a conversation. Would now have 3 minutes, so I can't finish. But let me read to Fana is saying, "Lol, it makes sense what you're saying, bro. I'm with you. I will judge Zwane next season. Zomujaja kanjani coach ama strikers esageja ohlobo ohlabudla." Exactly. Like yabo, if the Chiefs were not creating chances at all, Menaga would say, what's wrong with Uzwane? But the team is creating chances. Yabona nje kuMintindorp, Chiefs would go an entire game without creating a chance. That's why I had a problem. But in this case, the team is creating chances. We're just failing to put them away. Okay, for the last 2 minutes, I'll read the comments from the members. I was basically saying, guys, are we sure we didn't sell the game yesterday? Yo, does it really look like the game was sold at some point? But I doubt the Chiefs will sell a game. I doubt that would happen, Shem. Hupoto is saying Zwane is a good coach. Sure, he still needs to tweak a few things here and there, but look at the players we have. Yet we are chasing the second spot with Reds a month ago, and Reds has better players. Pirates has levels of players better than us. To a point where they can afford loaning out players to other teams. We don't have that luxury to loan out really good players out there. Like, really good players. Especially saying the fact that our starting 11 is our best or quality players just shows that we have a poor squad. Exactly. Not to mention all the injuries that Chiefs has had this season. Umandla saying, Mara, having a plan B with our bench is just asking for trouble. I remember he gave me arrows. We tried going plan B and then it just backfired. I was basically saying he doesn't trust his players, and Nami, I don't trust them at all. Like, how do you trust a player who's you going to trust with just passing a ball and they don't do it? Yeah, Shem. Ukhuputs is saying, I'm not a fan of crosses. Zwane needs to address that. I can take crosses 10% of the game. Otherwise, it becomes too much and we don't really score goals from them. So we're just wasting time. What I also say, Guti, do you honestly, for me, the question that I also have, Guti, are we honestly saying, Guti, abadlali bethu don't have a common sense yokubona ukuthi there is a space in the box, let me run into that space? Do you honestly are you honestly telling me ukuthi uZwane has to coach uSekhota not to rush, isn't? Do you think uZwane this entire season hasn't told uSekhota to stop running all the time? Because if that's the case, then that's like weird. I don't understand how that's the case. Ukuthi he wouldn't have told him by now. But uSekhota continues to do that every other game. How does that even happen? Usekhota does the same thing every other game. And now that he's benched, people are complaining Usekhota gets benched. But then he gets brought on in games like that. And then now you start seeing Uguti. It's absolutely nonsense. Uguti, well, it's justified why Usekhota, why they are being benched. Because they do things like that every other game. And because of that, they get benched and then people start complaining. Some people are not even informed. Bazokhuluma bethi uZwane akaxoshwe because he's not playing billiards. I'm like, you don't even know ukuthi billiards is injured, but you're going to talk about making decisions about who gets fired at the team. But the team that you're supporting, you don't even know ukuthi billiards is injured. Hi guys. Mina nje ngibuye ngixakeke. UKhuputso saying Dolly is creating and he balances the forward trio with his pace. And uDolly manje siyamkhumbula naye besimgxeka as fans, yet now we miss him because he did do something for us, and now we can see ukuthi omashane they are in the mud. Specifically saying, do you guys honestly think that if we can beat Pirates, seeing how we perform nowadays, even our style of play has changed? And remember, cup games are different from league games. Yabo Derby, even if we lost 10-0 against the Swallows, Derby would still have had a chance. Two more comments. Glenn is saying, I think Kaizer Chiefs needs to raid Marumo. Imagine what those forwards would be able to do with these chances that Kaizer Chiefs create. The thing is, again, will management be able to even do that? I doubt that. And then Unsegi is saying, Nsegi as a technical director, ngiyiboni igalelo analo kwi-team and angiyiboni supporter inikuzwana. Unsegi failed to coach Bafana Bafana with the players that Bafana Bafana had at that time. So I will doubt ukuthi he would be able to help Zwane. And also position Kansegi at Chiefs, it's also like he's the person who deals with what's the name? Development. So there is also there to go. He's a development person. So we need to, I will say this, Zwane needs to do a lot to improve the team yake. That's for him. He still needs to improve the game management yake. But also we cannot just make it seem like it's only him. The players also need to carry their weight. The management needs to do something as well. But for those of you who are thinking Zwane will be fired, he will not be fired this season. Wait until next season and then maybe your dreams will come true. Will come true. Whatever. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next video, and until next time, remember, Khosi, I'll pay you more.